welcome to the January 10th, 2024 CVTA Finance Committee meeting. I'm going to ask for Ms. Scott to do a certification of quorum.
Yes, sir. 1 second.
This is all I didn't get.
All right, Chesterfield County,
Sorry.
Vice Chair Carroll,
I am here.
Henrico County, Reverend Nelson,
Here.
City of Richmond, Mayor Stoney,
Here.
and Commonwealth Transportation Board, Mr. Davis.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Okay, and I don't believe we have anybody, quite frankly, anybody else who's appointed to serve on this committee than the three of us, so there should not be anybody trying to remotely view. Am I correct on that?
Correct.
So we don't need to go through all that. And hopefully, have you all had an opportunity to review the agenda, and if so, is there any considerations for amendments to the action agenda we have today?
Mr. Chairman, looking at item 7,
So,
the CVTA committee membership,
yes,
do we want to edit the agenda, amend the agenda and sort of punt that to the full authority, or do we want to actually discuss that here today?
my thoughts were, and I just had that conversation, that, we have two jurisdictions that were appointed in the rotation, and of course, both of those people are not returning. And my thoughts were that this is an appointment, an election that's made actually by the full body, not necessarily by the finance committee. And for the purpose of this, I thought we could skip that for today, send it to the full authority for consideration, having the explanation that, based on the document, the guidance document that we have in the bylaws, the jurisdictions who are appointed to it right now, the option is A, the people coming in who have been appointed by the jurisdiction to serve on the CVTA could fill that role. Or B, if they're not comfortable and they don't want to serve in that capacity because they're brand new, then we can move into the next rotation. But I don't want to make anybody else think that the big three, Henrico, Richmond, and Chesterfield, are basically going to dictate who that's going to be. I think it's a group discussion, and so that's my thoughts. Anybody else?
So how does the, so it's 5-person finance committee, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So Chesterfield and Henrico Richmond stay on?
Yes.
And then the 2 rotate between,
Smaller jurisdictions.
and what, so the other 5, so it's 9, is it 9 jurisdictions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2 out of the 6,
Guess Hanover's in there too.
Yes,
So
yes.
6.
okay, okay. And so the terms are for how long?
Should be 2 years according to the non-binding governance document.
Okay, so both of them have like a year left on their terms, is what you're saying?
Actually, I think they would have started, it's staggered.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
these are the other.
thank you, okay,
So right now, the two jurisdictions are New Kent and Powhatan.
right.
New Kent is nearing the end of their 2-year term. Powhatan has another year.
And so I'm assuming Patricia was New Kent.
Yes, sir.
And who was Powhatan?
Mike Byerly.
And he
Didn't run for re-election.
Okay. Well. So I guess that means what? I guess we need to wait until the.
Full authority
Full
means.
authority meeting, because those appointments, as you said correctly, sir, Henrico, Richmond, and Chesterfield by the code, are part of the finance committee automatically, and then the other 2 jurisdictions, normally of the other 6 are voted on. That's how we did it at first, and then we put a rotation in place.
So it's a 2-year rotation.
Yes. Yep, and it gives an opportunity for the small jurisdictions to rotate on who is on the finance committee. And then also even in leadership in the future, in the finance committee.
So we meet every, once a month?
Yes, the full authority is in the finance committee,
So when is the full authority meeting?
26th.
Okay, so we get with them before the 26th to figure out whether or not they want people to fill the, so are we saying we want to wait until the meeting to determine whether or not we're going to let them fill it out?
So what I've asked, sir,
Okay.
as acting chair, since I was vice chair, is for Chet to reach out to the appointees from those jurisdictions, Powhatan and New Kent, and ask them if they are interested in serving in capacity, filling those roles. And they may say yes, they may say no. But the truth of the matter is, when we come into the full authority meeting and have this discussion later on in the month, the members may take a different vote, and may say, let's, we want to, for example, if we have two brand new people that have no experience or knowledge of the CVTA, do we want to bring someone in who's been here for 4 years, who may represent another jurisdiction? But what I don't want is, I don't think that we should just dictate, well, it's gonna be this or gonna be that, because, it's a vote by the full authority.
Okay, so, all right, first meeting, forgive me for all the questions.
No, it's just great
but,
questions.
All right, so acting president, so acting chair.
Yes,
I
sir.
assume. So you'll become official if appointed by the board at the 26th meeting.
No, actually,
now.
once we have a quorum, which we actually do today,
Right.
then the finance committee chair and vice chair is chosen by the finance committee itself.
Today.
It could be today. I would prefer to wait until we actually have 5 people on the finance
Okay.
total, so it doesn't look like, again, that we're just trying to rubber stamp one another and not give anybody else any input.
Right. So the chair of the overall CVTA, that's already, I know,
Yes.
but that's already voted on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That would
Okay.
not change until our
So why didn't
organization
we-
meeting in July.
So why didn't we pick the committee chair then, at the same time
We did.
We did. It was Patricia Page.
Oh, okay.
So she was chair, and I was vice chair, and that became vacated now because I'm in the vice chair position, I'm in the acting role.
Okay.
Until we can get a full finance committee group together and then have that discussion and then decide what we want to do.
And it's 2-year terms on the committee. Is that what you're saying? So if you're chosen as the chair, that's 2 years or
1
1
year.
year? Okay.
1 year.
Okay. That's fine. I'm just learning.
No, it's great questions. Believe me, we asked them all too.
So do we have, so this not live, I mean, are we online or something?
Yes, we are.
So,
What's the voting structure? What's the voting structure in a regular meeting?
So for the regular meeting, voting is weighted by population for all of the jurisdictions. In the CVTA Finance Committee, it's by majority vote.
Okay, so
Not
5
weighted.
people,
Yeah,
5 votes.
yep. Mhm.
Yeah, but in the regular meeting,
In the regular meeting, it's weighted voting, and so if we do
but every jurisdiction has 1 person.
every jurisdiction has 1 person, but we
But
carry
Yeah.
more votes based on the population.
All right, well, let's talk afterwards then.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. So, Mr. Mayor, if you would like to make a motion to strike 7, I would accept that motion.
so move.
I will second it. So strike number 7 from the, even though we just had a great discussion on it.
Hey, we did.
That was the 5 minutes, right?
That's right.
So all in favor of striking 7, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda with 7 stricken from the agenda?
So moved.
Motion's made and properly seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. I said aye too. That was quick. I'm not sure if everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes from the December 13th meeting, but if everybody's okay with that, I would accept the motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
I will second the motion. Since I was here, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I was told last night, so I was educated about this last night, that, because I was always told that if you weren't here, you had to abstain.
Right?
But our lawyers told us last night that actually you can vote on minutes even if you weren't here. So
You can, if you believe.
if you feel comfortable.
That's right.
Yeah, and I trust you.
You're like,
guys.
oh, they look good to me.
I believe you did what you said you did.
It's a good start.
It's on the video too. We want to go back to YouTube, right?
Exactly. You go back and look at it and go, he didn't say that. Awesome. Now we're up to our open public comment period. Is there anyone in the audience? I don't see anyone online. And is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the CVTA during the open public comment period? Not seeing anyone coming forward, raising their hand, or jumping through the door, or coming in online. I'm going to move on to the next, which is the chairman's report. Only thing I will say is that, welcome, Happy New Year. Welcome, Mr. Nelson, to the committee. We look forward to having you here with us in the future and all of the participation that you will bring to the committee, both on the finance committee and the full CVTA.
Mr. Chairman, we remain the OGs of this,
The old guy?
of this, yeah, the original,
Yeah, yeah.
still here.
Still here. I kind of.
What has it been? How long, it was 4 years so far? How long has it been?
4 years.
4
yes.
years?
Yes, sir. Well, almost. It would be actually in existence, so July 1 of this year would make it 4 years. So,
So you two, Frank, and then the other localities, did most of them have the same persons too?
there's new rotations for Powhatan. There's a new rotation for New Kent. I think that
Hanover also?
Hanover as well. I think Ashland remained the same.
Mr. Hodges, yep.
Charles City was replaced, Mr. Coder was replaced by Mr. Atkins, but other than that, I think everybody's the same.
That's right.
That sound like a whole new crew to me.
Yes, it is.
There's a lot of.
So it sounds like it's gonna be a mix.
Yes.
Yeah, me, Mr.
And we actually have a new representative from the CTP.
So me, Mr. Carroll, and Mr. Hodges are the only original.
Carlos was in that spot.
that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. Gosh, that's true. So Carlos was on here too?
Yes,
Interesting.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems like a lifetime ago now.
Time flies when you're having fun. We'll move forward to number 6, the CVTA activities report. Mr. Parsons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I draw your attention to page 7 and 8 in the agenda packet. This is our monthly distribution report. On page 7, you can see the breakdown, Reverend Nelson, of the receipt of the 2 different types of taxes that we've had, the sales and use tax and the local fuels tax, from June through August. We do have a lag of a couple months before those receipts are reported. And then our outflows, we transfer to our operating fund, a small amount, and then 3 different categories, our regional fund amount, our payments to GRTC at 15%, and then 50% local distribution out to each jurisdiction. So there's a breakdown by month of which, of the amounts that have gone out to each jurisdiction, we usually focus on the year-to-date and lifetime to date on the right-hand side of the spreadsheet. We hit a milestone, lifetime to date, we're over 300 million now in revenues received, so that's a great achievement for this young organization. And then just move on to page 8. This is our monthly investment report provided by Rebecca Longmaker, our fiscal agent from Chesterfield. This is the amount of investments. We were slow in the early stages of the organization in reinvesting, but have started to really make up for it over FY23 and 24. The interest earnings at the bottom of the page reflect that reinvestment pool, and staff is working closely with Ms. Longmaker. It seems like almost on a monthly basis to reinvest funds as they are available, so that we don't have anything sitting stagnant that isn't earning interest at the time, that isn't being put towards a particular project for that time period. So no hiccups, nothing to report outside of the ordinary in terms of the tax collections and allocations. I'd be happy to take any questions if any of the members have any.
It's just a rookie question. So funds flow in, and then they go out
Yes,
to localities.
yes, sir.
So these local distribution amounts are actual dollar figures that go to particular.
That's right.
So August tax activity, end of November in Rico County, 2.8 million. So it was a check cut to Henrico for 2.8 million.
Yes.
like checks,
Cash rolling.
cash money.
Cash money.
It's not an
That's
actual.
right.
Yeah, we
So you
get
can- you can see
it,
since,
probably
uh,
electronically transferred to your
It
account.
is, right.
Yes.
But since the CVTA was created, Henrico's gotten just over 97 million.
Yeah, I see that.
That's half of the revenues received, go directly to the jurisdictions. The
Yep.
other half is
Goes to the regional pot,
kept
which
here
is,
or sent to GRC.
which at the bottom of the page, you see the regional pot fund balance is 219,413,223.
Represents 35%.
So that's the money we got in the bank here.
That's the 35%, yes. That's what we've actually earmarked for the regional projects that we approved 2 years ago in the regional transportation package.
Okay, so we live, I get it. So there's a bank account somewhere with $219 million in it
You're correct.
for the CVTA
Yes, sir.
Yes.
that goes towards regional projects.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is why this board is so special. Wow.
What do you mean by special?
I like that remark.
That's right.
So
I'm sure you're on a lot of different boards, Mr. Nelson.
yeah, this is different though. Yeah. So GRTC.
They get 15%.
So there's a transfer that went to GRTC that was 2.7. And I'm there, I'm the chair of the board, and I'm just missing the fact that we getting these transfers,
Yes.
almost $3 million
Yes, sir.
a month. Wow. That's incredible. Okay, this is good.
Very good, isn't it?
Thank you for this information.
Absolutely.
This is good.
Welcome to the CVTA.
I told you, you're gonna be excited about this, and I was right.
So the distribution, so 35 goes to regional fund,
Yes,
then 15 goes to GRTC.
yes, sir.
And so the other 50 is split up?
By the
Amongst the
jurisdiction, so
jurisdictions.
50% of what the citizens of Henrico County pay in goes to VDOT. Actually, 100% goes to VDOT, and it gets broken down into 3 categories. It gets sent to Chesterfield County fiscal agent, and then that money gets transferred to your locality.
And then it's a weighted scale for the localities.
Yeah, proportional to the taxes paid.
Okay.
It's basically, yeah, it's really about what your people generate. So, like for instance, for y'all, especially from fuels tax on 64, a lot of vehicles generate additional fuels tax on some of your bigger gas stations because they're pulling off to get gassed up. Same thing in Chesterfield with 95 and North Richmond. Well, now New Kent's gonna have the biggest gas station in the region. They're gonna have Buc-ee's,
Bucky Bucks.
which I can't wait for it to open up, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Moving forward?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if it's okay, I'd ask if Ms. Clark wanted to give her report, and then I could follow up.
That's
if there's
perfect.
anything additional to share.
Perfect. If she's agreeable.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Diana Moore Clark here, the CVTA TAC Chair. I will be giving an update from our Monday, January 8th TAC meeting that was held at 1 o'clock. First, we'll start with the Fall Line Trail updates. For the Fall Line Trail, we did circle back about the conversation that was had about the Fall Line Trail and at this finance meeting, at this board meeting regarding incorporation of the Chamber of Commerce, the wayfinding and the maintenance and the go-to entity. So we have put that on tax radar, and we will be working towards trying to find some solutions for different phases of what we may need. VDOT gave an update on Design Build 2. This was the crossing at Virginia State University. Of course, that was the one that had some cultural and historical and tribal resource issues that they're working through. But they are moving forward with an RFQ in the spring of this year and hope for an RFP in the fall of this year. And so they are working closely with Chesterfield to get as much as DB2 done with the transfer of the Design Bill $3 that this body moved over. So Design Bill 1 and Design Bill 2 is moving forward, which are fall line trail projects being administered by VDOT that are happening in Chesterfield County at this point. That is utilizing state and CVTA dollars. The second thing that we discussed was VDOT has released its December 2023 revised revenue estimates. And one of the parts that played a particular part was really in the 6-year project list and funding scenario. And so CVTA staff was able to adjust our existing project scenarios. So those are all of the existing rounds of funding for inflation, as well as with the revised revenue forecast. So we are working with an updated timelines and everything for our existing projects. So we're happy about that. And then lastly, we talked about the candidate project database. This was the development of a vision list from the localities. And just in the preliminary submittal, I think I better start with the 0 to 5 year time frame, just to keep the number reasonable, is a little bit over $2 billion. And the 5 to 10 year touches right at $3 billion, and then 10 to 15 years, $2.6 billion in transportation needs as put out by the localities. I do want to note that because we do now have a wild card, those projects, CVTA staff, the executive director, did break that down into eligible and wild card, just to see those different costs. But again, this is going to be the start of what we would like to be the long-range transportation plan for CVTA. And that is something that most of all of the authorities have, and it's something that would be important and reviewable and revisable by the board at any time. With that, that concludes my report. I can take any questions if needed.
Members, any questions?
Can I just provide a little more context?
Chet?
So the candidate project database that Ms. Clark was talking about, as we're gonna go into closed session to talk about bonding and some of the activities that we're working on. Before any decisions are made by the authority in regards to taking on debt, we really wanted to have on the staff side an understanding of what the possible top end amount would need to be to cover all of the identified projects that each of the 9 jurisdictions have in their books and the comp plans and everything else. So that was really the purpose for TAC to come up with that candidate project database, so we can understand out of all the needs in the region, we're looking at, billions and billions of dollars of transportation projects. So using that now, we can assess our ability to fund a portion of those projects, to leverage the CVTA dollars against larger federal grants and other types of activities. It's really just good information for us to have in our back pocket when we enter into these negotiations and conversations about prioritizing projects and putting them forward for consideration. So that's the purpose behind that. It's really it's a planning level estimate, and we have encouraged each of our tech members to continue submitting new information when additional projects are identified or additional details are provided, so that we can keep those costs updated as the time moves forward. I think the other thing to note in terms of timelines, we are moving into a period now where the full authority is going to be asked at the end of February to consider awarding funding from the regional fund for round 3 of our project application cycle. The TAC on Monday had a chance to look at the first glimpse of what the revised and verified cost estimates are going to be for each of the applications that have been submitted. It was a kind of a lengthy meeting, but we got through it, and I think everyone came out of it with a good understanding of what what the total request might be for those projects in round three. Moving forward, we are fine tuning internally those cost estimates along with all of the project scoring and ranking, so that the TAC, when they meet again on February 5th, is able to look at a 6-year outlay of possible funding amongst those projects and where each of the projects lands in terms of the scoring and prioritization. That's in the code that we are required to provide you all the full authority with objective good information to make an informed decision about which projects are the priorities for the region. So we are progressing towards a public comment or a public review period. I believe that starts the 8th of February, leading up to the 22nd, so that the week before you meet at the end of February. And we will compile any input received during that time on the proposed 6-year project plan, and then have that ready for discussion and detailed overview at the February full authority meeting. In terms of the Finance Committee, we are planning on moving forward in February with the regular meeting. That will be after the public review period has started. But my intent at that point for the Finance Committee is to be able to provide you with the updated information, all of the recommendations that TAC makes following their February 5th meeting, and give you the latest, greatest information so that you are aware of what's going on in terms of the project totals, the estimates, the 6-year plan, and we'll be able to put all that in front of you kind of as a preview before the full authority gets together again on the 23rd. That's a lot of information at one time.
It is.
Yes.
Board members, any comments? I have a comment, but I'll defer to you all first. Okay. Couple of things. One, I think Chet has explained clearly that the project list that's being composed is really to give a greater overview of the transportation needs that affect the region collectively from each jurisdiction. And one of the things you said that I don't agree with is that that we were trying to figure out, based on what those project needs were, where we would have to land from a bonding perspective. We'll figure out where we need to land on the bonding perspective based on what we feel comfortable with our debt ratio and what we think we can issue. And for those who may not know, the CVTA, each jurisdiction has the ability to submit a certain amount of projects from their jurisdiction to the CVTA for funding. And so, for example, if Chesterfield, which, by the way, and I'll use us as the example, which has over 4,400 miles of roads, it's the second largest road network in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we have a ton of transportation needs, but we're allocated, I believe, 8, right? That we can actually submit to the CVTA for consideration. And then those other transportation needs that we have, we would submit through the TPO or through other ways, or find other ways, quite frankly, to fund them. And as projects that are part of our list get funded, they get removed, and it gives an opportunity for another project to move up. So I think the bigger jurisdictions have 8, and then the smaller ones, as they progress, have a certain amount that they can put in. So I want to make sure anybody who may watch this video later understands that just because we put a list of, $3 billion in projects together, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to try and fund those $3 billion right out of the gate, especially through the bonding process. But there may, what I believe, and which is why we're moving forward with this, is that we do need to be ready so that we do have established credit, we do have the ability to issue debt if we need to, so that if a project comes up, a regional project that has a significant impact on a region, and for whatever reason the CTB needs assistance or the jurisdiction needs assistance in funding it, whether it's in Rico, Richmond, Chesterfield, or Goochland, that we're in a position to do something as opposed to say, sorry, we can't because we just didn't go through the process. And so it's really about putting this organization its best foot forward, and for the layman's terms, it's no different than having a credit rating for your house to establish whether or not you can get a loan for a house, to establish whether you can get a loan for a car. So we're trying to do is establish what our credit rating is and what we could actually utilize from a credit standpoint. And then we'll make a decision in the future how best to use it or not use it. But that's really what the process is, and I just wanted to make sure if someone's watching from home, probably no one right now, but maybe later, they would not be, they would have that pretty clear. Does that spur any comments from anyone else? All right, thank you, Chet, appreciate it. Moving on to number 8, Chet.
Yes, sir. This is an overview of the CVTA Bond Council solicitation and confidential ratings review. And I'll read the requested action, which would be a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, letter A, section 2.2-3711A29, for the purpose of discussing the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract for special bond counsel for the CVTA and for a confidential credit rating review. And letter B, section 2.2-3705.6, for the purpose of discussing confidential reports and information related to the procurement of financial advisory services and a confidential credit rating review. And letter C, section 2.2-3711A8, for consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, would potentially disclose confidential and proprietary information, and which requires discussion and consultation with legal counsel pursuant to section 2.2-3711A8, during which all recording of the meeting will cease.
Okay, so there is a need for us to go into a closed session. And based on what Chet just read, that could be our motion. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So there's a motion and a second. There's a motion before us that we go into closed session pursuant to the items listed in the meeting agenda, during which all recording of the meeting will cease. So all those in favor of going into closed session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.